Well, this is a board that Tom and I have been working on for probably, without knowing it, the last 15 years, more so in the last sort of 2 to 3 years. It's a high performance 9-1, so it's 9-1 on the deck competition board. It's the model that Tom's been riding for the last 3 seasons, or 3 contest seasons.
With pretty good success rates over those last 3 years.
Yeah, a couple of national titles and a Hyundai Pro Tour win. And also this is a board that Tom qualified for the what is it called? The Longboard World Tour, basically. So on the LQS. So yeah, it's you know, it's 9-1, 22.5. So this is a little bit wider than what he generally has been riding. This one's based off the same model that he rides in Good Waves. This one is actually an EPS board, so it's a little bit fuller and a little bit wider, and it's got a little bit more volume for the slower, softer waves. You know, without having to go to more of an all-rounder in those type of waves. So it's got a fair amount of rocker, relatively flat in the entry, but you know, fair bit of curve the whole way through. A pretty decent sort of nose concave, quite short nose concave, and reasonably, you know, quite beveled off the edge. So you know, cats coming in off Rios and big floaters and things, there's less up there to catch, and then this sort of flows into a reasonable amount of V through the belly, and you know, you can probably see there's some pretty decent double concaves. So what I'm trying to do is feed that water through off the concave into the V, so it gives the board a fair amount of manoeuvrability rail to rail real quick, makes the board feel a little bit narrower than it is, and then the double concaves to sort of keep the water flowing all the way through to just between the feet where you stand. It actually sort of changes. You can see it change right, and then it goes into a full deep single concave through the fins, and then out through the tail. So basically just sort of surfing off your longboard sort of style up there. So longboard, nose riding, and then come back and, you know, step back and then plant your feet back into the sweet spot, and you know, really like just basically tail template is very shortboard orientated. So you know, if you put the Generation Y model on there or something similar to that, you've got your hip just after your fins here, really straight through the tail. So basically a shortboard template to between your feet and a longboard template in the nose. So really high performance longboard for high performance longboard surfing.
And Tom's surfing's obviously progressed, and probably in the last couple of years he's really got a really nice flow between being able to perform some really critical nose rides as well as being able to surf off the tail. That's a big factor when purchasing a longboard, getting that balance between the two, so you can go out when it's a little bit smaller. How does this board sort of fit into the scheme of things for Joe Bloggs that rides a longboard?
Well, this one's is set up purely for a pretty experienced surfer, you know, intermediate to experienced. But you know, we make this board for this same board in different lengths. So we'd probably take it up to 9-4, and then just widen it out and thicken it up. So, but essentially, this model just grows basically. So it might be 5% bigger, a little bit more volume, a little bit more literage. For somebody that's probably not as quick and agile as, you know, as the top guys. So it can be. It is basically like the go-to model of our longboard range as far as performance, but by, you know, widening it out and thickening it up, it caters for a range of surfers. And
a lot over the years, a lot of fairly good shortboarders have kind of entered their way onto the longboard way of thinking, or having a longboard in their quiver. Something like this, where a reasonably experienced shortboarder transitioning to a longboard and probably still trying to keep the surfing similar to a level, but adding in the longboard element?
No, this is definitely the longboard for a shortboard surfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably just make exactly the same as this for somebody that's primarily surfs a shortboard but also wants a longboard in their quiver.
And as far as getting your feedback from Tom, obviously working alongside each other day in day out and being great mates, how do you pry information out of TK's mind and flow that into your shaping?
Well, we tend to talk a fair amount about boards, and we've developed this model for a long time. Probably at least 40 or 50 boards in the making of this board, which Tom was heavily involved with for a long, through all of those boards, and yeah, it's just culminating in a board which he qualified on the World Tour for. So I think that sort of speaks volumes for Tom's feedback and input, into this board. So
it's fair to say that it's progressed a fair bit from sort of 10 years ago, where Tom was quite big on his spray jobs. That was his main focus of attention.
Yeah.
To being quite a bit of a design guru in his own right, and really understand what's going on.
I think the top surfers at that level, we really need to be pretty tuned into the equipment and work alongside a shaper that understands what they want. And it just speaks volumes for Tom sticking with me and Morris Surfboards for that time. I think it's it's helped both of us, and definitely a good thing.